The vast blackness of space surrounded the Xylonian scout ship as it approached the blue-green planet. Commander Zexthar stood on the bridge, his four eyes blinking in sequence as he studied the viewscreen. Earth looked peaceful from this distance, oceans, clouds, and patches of green and brown land. Nothing to suggest danger. "Final scan complete, Commander," said Science Officer Milnar, her tentacles dancing across the control panel. "Primitive technology, limited space presence, and no detected weapons capable of reaching our position, exactly as our records indicated." Zexthar nodded, his gray skin reflecting the blue light of the console. "Prepare the report for the Galactic Federation. Classification remains harmless. A developing world showing early signs of unity, but centuries from true space capability." The Xylonian crew had observed Earth for 3 standard cycles. They watched humans go about their daily lives, monitored their communications, and studied their primitive spacecraft that barely reached their own moon. The Xylonians found humans fascinating, but ultimately unthreatening. After all, humans still fought among themselves over resources and ideologies. How dangerous could such a divided species be to the mighty Galactic Federation? 3 months later, the diplomatic vessel Stellar Harmony descended through Earth's atmosphere. Its cloaking field disengaged as it approached the designated landing zone in Wyoming. Below, human officials waited in a carefully prepared welcoming area. Captain Greg Mitchell stood straight in his dark blue uniform, decorated with medals from his years of military service. He kept his expression neutral, but inside, his heart raced with excitement and caution. Beside him, Dr. Samantha White clutched her tablet computer, occasionally pushing her glasses up her nose. As Earth's leading exobiologist, she had prepared for this moment her entire career. "Remember," Mitchell whispered to his team, "friendly but careful. We give nothing away." The Stellar Harmony touched down with surprising grace for such a large vessel. Its sleek silver hull shimmered in the morning sunlight. A door appeared in the side of the craft, seamlessly materializing where smooth metal had been moments before. Ambassador Krila emerged first, followed by 6 other Xylonians. They walked with a fluid grace, their forearms moving in perfect balance. Their skin ranged from pale blue to deep gray, and their 4 eyes blinked independently of each other. Mitchell stepped forward, executing the greeting protocol developed by Earth's unified government. "On behalf of the people of Earth, I welcome you to our world." Ambassador Krila raised her upper right arm in response, revealing shimmering patterns on her skin. "The Galactic Federation extends greetings to your people. We come in peace and friendship." For the next 6 hours, humans and Xylonians engaged in carefully scripted diplomatic exchanges. Gifts were presented, cultural information shared, and preliminary discussions of trade possibilities begun. Throughout it all, Mitchell maintained his friendly but guarded demeanor. During a brief moment alone with Dr. White, while the aliens were examining Earth artifacts, Mitchell whispered, "Notice how they keep mentioning their protection? They see us as children." White nodded slightly. "Perfect. Let them think that." Unknown to the Xylonians, every word, every movement, every biological reading was being recorded and analyzed by hidden sensors. 300 miles away in a secure underground facility, General Frank Cooper watched the proceedings with intense interest, surrounded by Earth's top military leaders. "They're confident," Cooper observed. "Maybe even a little arrogant." Admiral Laura Jenkins nodded. "Good. Underestimation works in our favor." While the diplomatic meeting proceeded above ground, intelligence officers noted every detail about Xylonian physiology, technology, and cultural cues. Most importantly, they observed the aliens' reactions to humanity. The Xylonians clearly found humans quaint and somewhat amusing, like clever children taking their first steps into a larger world. As the meeting concluded, Ambassador Krila presented Captain Mitchell with a final gift, a small device she described as a cultural exchange module. "This contains information about our many worlds and peoples," she explained. "A gesture of friendship to help Earth prepare for eventual membership in our Federation." Mitchell accepted the gift with appropriate gratitude, knowing it would be taken directly to Earth's most secure research facility for analysis. We look forward to learning more about our new friends among the stars. After the Xylonians departed, Mitchell and White were transported to the underground command center. The cultural exchange module, now sealed in a containment field, sat on a laboratory table. Initial analysis suggests it's exactly what they claim, a database of cultural and historical information, reported Dr. White. But the storage technology is like nothing we've ever seen. The density of information is incredible. General Cooper studied the alien device. And they just handed it over. They really do think we're harmless. Mitchell removed his formal jacket. That's our advantage. They expect us to be overwhelmed, grateful, and compliant. In the following days, Earth's unified government issued carefully controlled news releases about first contact. Public reaction mixed wonder and caution. Religious leaders contemplated the theological implications. Scientists celebrated. Military recruitment surged. In a secure meeting room beneath the Rocky Mountains, Earth's Defense Council gathered to discuss the implications of first contact. Representatives from formerly rival nations now worked together with single-minded focus. The Xylonians mentioned 17 other species in the Federation, said Mitchell as he displayed images captured during the meeting. They referred to at least 3 major powers outside the Federation. We need to understand this political landscape. Dr. White presented her preliminary findings on Xylonian biology. They evolved on a world with stronger gravity and higher oxygen content. In Earth conditions, they have advantages in strength but may tire more quickly than humans. Defense Minister Richard Hayes leaned forward. And their technology? Advanced but not magical, White replied. Their propulsion system appears to use principles our physicists have theorized. Their medical technology is centuries ahead of ours. Their weapons... She hesitated. We detected energy signatures consistent with directed particle weapons. How long would it take us to catch up? Asked Hayes. The science advisor, Dr. Paul Ellis, spoke carefully. With conventional research? Centuries. But with the information they've given us and what we observed, we might adapt some of their technologies within years, not decades. General Cooper nodded. Then that's our mission. They expect us to behave like an eager student. We'll play that role perfectly while learning everything we can. As the meeting concluded, Mitchell remained behind with Cooper and White. They're coming back in 6 months, Mitchell said. They want to invite a human delegation to visit their capital world. Cooper smiled. Perfect. We'll be model students of the galactic community. Dr. White's expression was more troubled. We should be careful. If they realize how quickly we're adapting their technology. Mitchell placed a hand on her shoulder. That's why we maintain the illusion. As far as the Galactic Federation is concerned, Earth remains exactly what they classified us as, harmless. In orbit above Earth, a small monitoring probe left behind by the Xylonians recorded human television broadcasts, analyzed public communications, and observed the planet's general response to first contact. It detected nothing concerning, just the expected excitement and confusion of a young species encountering galactic society for the first time. The probe transmitted its routine update to Federation headquarters. Earth status unchanged. Classification confirmed. Harmless. How wrong they were. 6 months after first contact, the human delegation prepared to board the Xylonian diplomatic vessel that would take them to Nexus Prime, the capital world of the Galactic Federation. The team stood on a private landing pad in Geneva, where Earth's unified government had established its headquarters. Admiral Patricia Carter adjusted her uniform one last time. At 52, she had the bearing of someone used to command. Beside her stood Alan Murphy, Earth's chief diplomat, a man with gentle eyes that hid a razor-sharp mind. Dr. Keith Washington, a quantum physicist with 3 Nobel Prizes, checked the contents of his tablet computer. Cultural attaché Lisa Rodriguez completed the team, her background in anthropology and psychology, making her invaluable for understanding alien societies. Remember, Carter told her team quietly, we are students, eager to learn, nothing more. Others nodded. Each member had been chosen not only for their expertise, but for their ability to maintain the careful deception Earth had planned. They would appear respectful, even awestruck, while missing nothing. The Xylonian ship arrived exactly on schedule, descending from the clouds with a soft hum. Ambassador Kreela greeted them warmly as they boarded. "Your people have adapted remarkably well to the knowledge of other intelligent life," she observed. "Most species experience severe cultural shock." Murphy smiled politely. "We've imagined meeting aliens for generations. In a way, you've fulfilled one of humanity's oldest dreams." This was true, though not the whole truth. Humans had indeed dreamed of meeting aliens, both in hopes of peaceful exchange and in fear of conquest. This duality had prepared them in ways the Xylonians couldn't understand. The journey to Nexus Prime took 3 days by Xylonian faster-than-light travel. During this time, the humans were given tours of the ship and basic information about the 26 species that formed the Galactic Federation. Dr. Washington asked carefully crafted questions that seemed born of simple curiosity, but provided crucial insights into Xylonian technology. When they arrived at Nexus Prime, the humans stared out the viewport with genuine amazement. The planet was covered with gleaming cities, orbital platforms, and ships of countless designs coming and going from its surface. "It's beautiful," Rodriguez whispered, and she meant it. But even as she admired the view, she was analyzing the defenses, noting weak points and identifying key infrastructure. Their welcome at the Federation capital was elaborate. Representatives from many worlds gathered to see the newcomers. The humans were given translator devices to understand the various languages and guided to a vast crystal dome where the Federation Council met. Grand Counselor Vexthar, a tall Xylonian with deep blue skin, greeted them formally. "Welcome, children of Earth. Today marks your world's first step toward joining the greater galactic community." Admiral Carter bowed slightly. "We are honored by your welcome and eager to learn from your wisdom." The next 5 days were filled with meetings, tours, and cultural exchanges. The humans were shown technology centuries beyond Earth's capabilities. They visited medical facilities where diseases Earth considered fatal were cured routinely. They observed shipyards where vessels were grown rather than built. Throughout it all, they maintained expressions of polite wonder, while their enhanced memory implants, one of the few technologies humans had developed independently that matched alien capabilities, recorded everything. On the 3rd day, at a EOY, formal dinner with representatives from 12 species, a tall reptilian alien approached their table. The draconian diplomat looked down at the humans with obvious disdain. "I fail to see why such a primitive species deserves this level of attention," he said, his translator not quite hiding the contempt in his voice. "Your world has barely managed to avoid self-destruction. You have nothing to offer the Federation," though other aliens at the table shifted uncomfortably. Most species would respond to such an insult with embarrassed deference. Rodriguez, however, smiled and stood to face the draconian. "Perhaps that is why we are here, honored representative," Shi Wei said calmly, "to determine what we might offer and what we might learn. After all, judging a species' potential based only on their current technology would be like judging a library by its cover, would it not?" The draconian's scales rippled in surprise. Several of the warrior species at nearby tables turned to listen, and "Yet," Rodriguez continued, her voice pleasant but firm, "Earth has achieved in a few thousand years what took some species tens of thousands. We are young, yes, but we learn quickly." The draconian stared at her for a long moment before inclining his head slightly. "We shall see," he said, before walking away. What no one at the table realized was that this exchange had been planned. Earth's intelligence services had studied the information on draconians and correctly predicted this confrontation would occur. Rodriguez's response, showing neither fear nor excessive deference, had been carefully crafted to gain the respect of certain Federation species. Later that evening, a representative of the Krell, a warrior species known for their directness, approached Admiral Carter. "Your cultural attaché handled diplomat Zrax well," the Krell said. "Few new species stand their ground against draconians." Carter nodded. "Humans value respect, both giving and receiving it. The Krell studied her with interest. If your people ever wish to discuss matters outside official Federation channels, the Krell would be receptive. And just like that, Earth had made its first potential ally outside the Federation's direct influence. In their private quarters that night, the human delegation met to share their observations. "They're overconfident," Washington said quietly. "Their technology is advanced, but they've grown complacent. I've identified at least 3 propulsion concepts we could adapt within a year using principles we already understand." Murphy nodded. "And their political structure has fractures. The Krell, the Arcturians, even the Rigelians, none of them are fully satisfied with Xylonian leadership of the Federation." "Which we can use," Carter said. "We need allies, technology, and time." Rodriguez reviewed her cultural notes. "Many of these species have been spacefaring for thousands of years. They've forgotten what it's like to fight for survival daily. Humans are still close to our evolutionary roots. We remember struggle in a way they don't." As the humans continued their visit, Federation officials noted their unusual adaptability. Humans showed none of the vertigo or confusion other new species experienced. When exposed to Federation technology, they asked insightful questions and formed relationships with multiple species, not just their Xylonian sponsors. Chief Security Officer Malvik observed the humans with growing concern. "They're too comfortable," she told her superior. "New species usually require extensive psychological support during first exposure to the galactic community. Humans are resilient," her superior replied dismissively. "Their planet has extreme environmental variation. It breeds adaptability." Malvik wasn't convinced. "I'm updating their file. They bear watching." When the Earth delegation returned home 2 weeks later, they brought with them knowledge that would accelerate human technology by centuries, political connections that would prove invaluable, and a deep understanding of the galactic power structure. As their ship departed Nexus Prime, Federation anthropologist Telvik made a notation in Earth's file. "Demonstrates unusual diplomatic aggression for a developing world. Monitor closely." How little they understood what was coming. 1 year after first contact, the Amazon rainforest spread below like a vast green carpet. Morning mist rose from the canopy as birds called to each other in the dawn light. This ancient forest, once threatened by human activity, had been restored through global conservation efforts in the decades before alien contact united Earth's nations. Deep in the command center beneath Rio de Janeiro, Lieutenant Maria Diaz monitored Earth's new orbital defense system. The screen showed a small Federation science vessel entering Earth's atmosphere without authorization. "Sir, we have an unidentified craft violating approach protocols," she reported to her commanding officer. "They did not request entry clearance." Colonel John Harris frowned at the display. "Have they responded to hails?" "No, sir, they're ignoring all communications." Harris reached for the secure line to Earth Defense Command. "General Martinez, we have a situation." Within minutes, 3 of Earth's newest fighter jets scrambled from a hidden base in Brazil. These aircraft, officially listed as experimental prototypes, incorporated technology reverse-engineered from the Xylonian diplomatic vessel that had visited Earth. The Federation believed humans were decades from understanding such technology. They were wrong. Captain Ryan Scott led the squadron, his fighter climbing rapidly through the clouds. At 34, Scott had flown combat missions before Earth's unification and was selected for his quick thinking under pressure. His cockpit displayed information in ways no human aircraft had before first contact, the neural interface allowing him to process data with unprecedented speed. "Target acquired," he reported as his sensors locked onto the alien craft. "Definitely Federation design, but smaller than the diplomatic vessel. Looks like a science ship." "Make contact," ordered General Diana Martinez from command. "Follow first contact protocols." Scott opened a channel using frequencies they knew Federation ships monitored. "Attention unidentified vessel. You have entered Earth's atmosphere without authorization. Please respond immediately." The Federation ship continued its descent, heading directly toward a protected region of the Amazon. "They're ignoring us," Scott reported. "Course unchanged." In the Federation science vessel, lead researcher Zelmak was annoyed by the primitive communication attempt. "Just some local air traffic," he told his team. "Their technology can't possibly intersect with ours. Proceed with the collection mission." The Yao Federation had done this countless times on developing worlds, quick, unauthorized sampling missions to gather biological specimens. Such worlds never had the capability to track, much less intercept, Federation vessels. General Martinez's voice was calm but firm over the secure channel. "Captain Scott, the vessel is in violation of the diplomatic agreements established during first contact. You are authorized to disable their propulsion system." Scott acknowledged the order, then accelerated his fighter to match speed with the alien craft. "Final warning," he broadcast. "Stop your descent and establish communication, or we will be forced to take defensive action." When the Federation ship again ignored the warning and began extending collection equipment, Scott made his decision. Target locked, firing. The missile that streaked from Scott's fighter was unlike anything Earth had officially developed. Its guidance system incorporated principles observed during the diplomatic visit, and its warhead was specifically designed to disable Federation shielding technology. Inside the Federation vessel, alarms blared as sensors detected the incoming weapon. "Impossible," Zelmak shouted. "This world doesn't have—" The missile struck with precision, bypassing the ship's primary shields and disabling its main propulsion system. The Federation craft shuddered, then began an emergency descent. "How did they—" The science officer couldn't complete her sentence as the ship's emergency systems engaged, fighting to maintain control. The Federation vessel made a rough but survivable landing in a clearing. Within minutes, Earth Defense Forces surrounded it, their weapons trained on the exits. Captain Scott landed his fighter nearby and approached on foot, accompanied by a squad of soldiers. When the Federation crew emerged with hands raised in the Xylonian gesture of non-aggression, they found themselves facing humans equipped with energy weapons that shouldn't have existed on Earth for centuries. "Your vessel violated Earth sovereignty," Scott informed them calmly. "You will be detained until Federation representatives arrive to address this incident." News of the incident reached Federation headquarters within hours. The Emergency Council session that followed was filled with confusion and outrage. "This is unprecedented," declared the Xylonian representative. "A protected world attacking a Federation vessel. They shouldn't have the capability to detect our ships, much less disable one." Ambassador Krila, who had led the first contact mission, appeared troubled. "I believe we may have underestimated the humans' adaptability." When a formal diplomatic protest was sent to Earth, the response came not from lower officials, but from General Diana Martinez herself. Her image appeared on the Federation communication screen, her expression stern. "Your vessel entered Earth's atmosphere without permission," she stated without preamble. It ignored multiple warnings and continued what appeared to be an unauthorized collection mission in a protected region. "Our response was measured and appropriate." The Federation representative sputtered. "But your weapons, the technology you used," Martinez cut him off, "is entirely our concern. We study quickly. Consider yourselves fortunate that we chose to disable your ship rather than destroy it." After the communication ended, the Federation Security Council convened an emergency session. "How did they develop countermeasures to our shielding so quickly?" demanded one official. "The technological leap is impossible." Intelligence Director Kravnor presented his findings to the stunned council. "Analysis suggests the missile used against our science vessel incorporated principles similar to our own defense systems. Somehow they studied our diplomatic vessel during first contact thoroughly enough to begin adapting our technology." "That's impossible," insisted a senior council member. "Their scientists couldn't possibly understand our systems, even with direct access." Kravnor's expression remained grim. "The evidence suggests otherwise. We must consider the possibility that we have significantly underestimated human learning capacity and technological adaptability." In the days that followed, Federation investigators discovered something even more disturbing. The fighter craft that intercepted their science vessel had used materials and design elements that could only have come from studying Federation technology. Humans had somehow reverse-engineered critical components from mere observation during the diplomatic visit. "We need to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about humans," Kravnor told the Council. "Their technological assimilation rate exceeds all known species in our records." The Federation's response was to establish a permanent monitoring station in Earth's solar system, officially for diplomatic coordination, but actually to watch for further concerning developments. On Earth, the captured Federation science vessel became the centerpiece of a new research facility. Scientists worked day and night to understand every component, every system. Within months, human ships would incorporate even more advanced technology. In a secure meeting room, General Martinez briefed world leaders on the implications of the incident. "The Federation now knows we're not as primitive as they believed," she explained. "But they still don't understand how quickly we're advancing." President William Clark nodded thoughtfully. "And our connections with the Krell and Arcturians?" "Strengthening daily," Martinez replied. "They're impressed by our handling of the incident. The Arcturian ambassador has offered technical assistance in areas the Federation has been reluctant to share." "Good," Clark said. "We need allies. The Federation may see us as a potential threat now, but they haven't seen anything yet." In the depths of Federation intelligence, Earth's classification was quietly updated. Potentially dangerous. Technological assimilation rate exceeds all known species. It was the first step in what would become a much more dramatic reclassification. 2 years after first contact, the Galactic Federation Council chamber hummed with tension. The massive circular room, with its soaring crystal ceiling and representatives from 26 spacefaring civilizations, had never seemed so divided. On the main display, a resolution glowed in the official language of the Federation. "The Council hereby establishes protective limitations on Earth's interstellar activities until such time as humanity demonstrates sufficient maturity and stability to participate fully in galactic affairs." The vote was not unanimous, but the majority supported the measure. Several species, including the Krell and Arcturians, abstained rather than openly opposing the Federation leadership. Ambassador Alan Murphy sat alone in the Earth section, his face carefully neutral as the results were announced. He had expected this. The incident with the science vessel had accelerated the Federation's concerns, but Earth's rapid technological progress was the real issue. The Federation was not accustomed to species who advanced so quickly. Grand Counselor Vexthar approached Murphy after the session. "You understand this is for your own protection," he said, his translator making his tone sound almost paternal. "Young species often harm themselves when exposed to advanced technology too quickly." Murphy nodded politely. "We understand the Council's concerns. Earth will consider this resolution carefully." His mild response seemed to satisfy the Counselor. What the Federation representatives didn't know was that Murphy had already sent an encrypted message to Earth before the vote even took place. The message contained one word: proceed. Murphy returned to Earth without protest or complaint, which puzzled many Federation observers who had expected humans to show more emotion about the restrictions. 3 days later, a new face appeared on the Federation's diplomatic channel. Nicole Bennett, a woman with sharp eyes and a confident bearing, introduced herself as Earth's newly appointed ambassador. "The Federation Council has overstepped," she stated without preamble. "Earth is a sovereign world, and we will not recognize any restrictions on our right to explore space or develop technology at our own pace." The Federation representatives were stunned by this direct challenge from a supposedly developing world. Furthermore, Bennett continued before they could respond, "I am pleased to announce that Earth has established formal diplomatic and trade relations with the Arcturian Empire, the Rigelian Technocracy, and the Orion Confederation." Silence fell over the council chamber. What Bennett had just announced should have been impossible. Earth had no ships capable of interstellar travel. The only aliens who had visited Earth officially were Federation representatives. How could humans have established relations with 3 major powers, all of whom happened to be Federation rivals? "This is highly irregular," Vexthar finally said. "How exactly did you establish these relationships without interstellar travel capability?" Bennett smiled. "The Galactic Federation does not have a monopoly on first contact protocols, Counselor. When news of our existence spread through the galactic community, several civilizations expressed interest in direct relations with Earth. We welcomed their representatives, just as we welcomed yours. What Bennett didn't reveal was far more complex. Earth's intelligence services had identified potential allies during the diplomatic visit to Nexus Prime. Using communication technology reverse-engineered from Federation equipment, Earth had sent encrypted messages to these powers, suggesting mutual benefits from alliance. The Arcturians, an ancient species with elaborate cultural traditions, were intrigued by Earth's art and philosophy. The Rigelians, masters of theoretical physics, found human scientific intuition surprisingly valuable, despite Earth's technological limitations. The Orion Confederation, a loose alliance of trading worlds, saw potential in Earth's resource diversity and manufacturing creativity. Each rival power wanted something the Federation had overlooked, not Earth's primitive technology, but human creativity, adaptability, and unique perspective. In exchange, they offered knowledge and protection that would help Earth remain independent from Federation control. Back on Earth, the Unified Defense Council met to discuss the diplomatic developments. The room was secure against any known surveillance technology, including those used by their new alien allies. Ambassador Bennett's announcement has accelerated our timeline, President Clark told the assembled leaders. The Federation now sees us as diplomatically aggressive, as well as technologically concerning. General Martinez brought up a holographic display showing Earth's defense capabilities. Our first fleet will be operational within 3 months. 6 vessels incorporating technology from multiple sources, each designed to serve as both diplomatic and defense platforms. The ships under construction combined elements from Federation design, with improvements suggested by Arcturian and Rigelian advisors. Earth's engineers had taken these different technological approaches and created something entirely new, hybrid vessels unlike anything in the galaxy. What about the Federation monitoring station at the edge of our system? Asked Defense Minister Harris. Martinez smiled. They're watching us carefully, but they're looking for the wrong things. They expect us to follow their technological development path, just faster. They don't understand that we're taking multiple alien technologies and combining them in ways their creators never imagined. In a secure facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Sam White led a team studying the captured Federation science vessel. They had stripped it down to its components, understanding not just how it worked but why it was designed that way. The Federation builds everything to last centuries, White explained to visiting officials. We're building ships that can be upgraded or even rebuilt entirely as technology improves. Our focus is adaptability, not longevity. This philosophy extended to Earth's military training as well. Federation species specialized over thousands of years, becoming experts in their particular fighting styles and technologies. Humans instead trained to adapt quickly, to understand multiple approaches and to combine them unpredictably. When the Federation sent a formal protest about Earth's diplomatic maneuvers, Ambassador Bennett responded with an invitation. We welcome Federation representatives to visit Earth's new spaceflight center, she told the stunned council. Perhaps seeing our progress firsthand will help the Federation better understand humanity's potential as a partner rather than a ward. The delegation that arrived 1 month later was led by Intelligence Director Kravnor himself. He had insisted on personally assessing the human situation after reading troubling reports from field agents. The Earth of 2 years after first contact was dramatically changed. Cities now featured technology that blended human aesthetics with alien function. The Spaceflight Center outside Geneva showcased vessels under construction that incorporated elements from multiple galactic civilizations. Impossible, whispered one Federation scientist as they toured the facility. These designs combine technologies that should be incompatible. Kravnor said nothing, but his 4 eyes missed nothing. When he finally spoke with Bennett privately, his question was direct. How have you advanced decades of development in mere months? Bennett's answer was simple but profound. Federation species evolved in stable environments and developed technology gradually, building on single approaches, over millennia. Humans evolved in rapidly changing conditions, forcing us to adapt constantly. When shown multiple technological paths, we don't see them as separate traditions to be respected. We see them as tools to be combined. As Kravnor's ship departed Earth, he updated the security classification in the Federation database. Dangerously unpredictable. Demonstrates advanced political maneuvering inconsistent with technological development stage. The Federation still didn't understand what they were dealing with, but they were beginning to worry. 3 years after first contact, a Federation outpost near Earth's solar system sent out a desperate distress call. A Xrillian pirate fleet had emerged from hyperspace without warning. The pirates, notorious throughout this sector of the galaxy, operated beyond Federation law, raiding outposts and capturing ships for their technology and resources. The Federation defense ships stationed at the outpost were quickly overwhelmed. The pirates' vessels, while crewed, outnumbered the defenders, 3-1. As the outpost's shields began to fail, the commander sent what he believed would be a final message to Federation headquarters. No one expected what happened next. 5 ships appeared on the edge of the battle, their design unlike anything seen before in the galaxy. They were neither the sleek, crystalline vessels of the Federation, nor the cobbled-together raiders of the pirates. These ships combined elements of multiple civilizations' technology in ways that should have been incompatible, yet somehow worked together perfectly. On the bridge of the lead vessel, named Defiant, Commander Sean Harrison stood calmly as his crew prepared for battle. At 41, Harrison had been a naval officer before Earth's unification. Now he commanded humanity's first true interstellar warship. "Open a channel to the pirate flagship," Harrison ordered, his voice steady. Lieutenant Olivia Reed nodded as she established communication. "Channel open, sir." Harrison spoke clearly, his words translated into the pirates' language. "This is Commander Harrison of the Earth vessel Defiant. This system is under Earth's protection. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." On the main screen, a Xrillian pirate captain appeared, his scaled face twisted in amusement. "Earth? The primitives? Return to your little world before we decide to visit it next." Harrison shook his head slightly. "Very well. You were warned." He signaled to cut the communication, then turned to his tactical officer. "Lieutenant Kelly, deploy, attack pattern Thermopylae." The 5 Earth ships moved in perfect coordination, using maneuvers never before seen in space combat. Instead of the standard Federation approach of maintaining safe distance and firing energy weapons, the Earth vessels closed aggressively with the pirates. They moved in ways that seemed reckless, almost suicidal, yet somehow always managing to avoid the worst of the enemy fire. The Federation defenders watched in amazement as the Earth ships executed impossibly tight turns, using the pirates' own formation against them. The humans fought like no species they had ever seen, combining naval warfare tactics from Earth's oceans with aerial combat maneuvers, and even ground-based guerrilla strategies, all adapted for the 3-dimensional battlefield of space. "What are they doing?" asked a Federation officer as he watched an Earth ship deliberately take damage to its outer hull to position itself for a perfect attack run. "They're fighting like they don't fear death," replied his commander in awe. In the Defiance Tactical Center, Lieutenant Kelly coordinated with the other Earth vessels. "Warrior and Guardian, execute flanking pattern Delta. Sentinel, maintain suppression fire on their flagship. Pioneer, follow us in." The Earth ships broke formation suddenly, each executing a different attack pattern. The pirates, accustomed to fighting predictable Federation vessels, couldn't adapt to the chaotic yet somehow coordinated assault. Within 20 minutes, half the pirate fleet was disabled. The remaining ships attempted to retreat, but the Earth vessels had positioned themselves to cut off their escape routes. The pirate captain reopened communication, his earlier arrogance replaced by fear. "We surrender. Call off your attack." Harrison nodded calmly. "Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." When the battle ended, the Federation outpost had been saved. The Earth ships immediately began rescue operations, sending medical teams to treat wounded Federation personnel and even injured pirates. Grand Admiral Zikrath of the Federation Defense Force received the battle recordings with growing concern. He watched them repeatedly, trying to understand the humans' tactics. In 3 years, he told Intelligence Director Kravnor, they've gone from a pre-interstellar civilization to creating hybrid vessels that can defeat a pirate fleet that overwhelmed our own ships. Kravnor nodded grimly. And they don't fight like any species we've encountered. They adapt tactics from across their own military history, naval warfare, aerial combat, guerrilla strategies, all modified for space. They're using concepts no one else would think to apply. Because no one else has their history, Zikrath realized. The Federation has known peace for centuries. Even our conflicts are conducted according to established protocols. Humans come from a world where they've fought countless wars against themselves, using every environment on their planet. Their entire history is warfare, Kravnor agreed. Not continuous, but frequent enough that it's part of their thinking. They see battle differently than we do. The Federation Council held an emergency session to discuss the implications of what they'd witnessed. For hours, representatives from various worlds debated what to do about Earth. Some advocated for stronger restrictions. Others suggested bringing humans fully into the Federation to guide their development. A few voices, growing in number, suggested something that would have been unthinkable years earlier. Perhaps the Federation needed to learn from humans, not the other way around. As the debate continued, Kravnor made a decision. He accessed the secure Federation database and officially changed Earth's classification from potentially dangerous to the highest threat designation in the system. Oh, God. Oh no, why are they here? When Federation representatives met with Earth's leaders to formally thank them for saving the outpost, General Martinez received the news of their reclassification with a slight smile. Perhaps next time you'll remember that appearing harmless is humanity's most effective strategy, she told the startled Federation diplomats. We've been practicing it on ourselves for our entire history. In Earth's orbital shipyards, another 40 vessels were under construction, each incorporating technologies from different alien civilizations, combined in ways their original designers never imagined possible. Earth's alliance with the Arcturians, Rigelians, and Orion Confederation had expanded to include several former Federation member worlds who recognized the benefits of human creativity and adaptability. 6 months after the battle, Federation archaeologists made a disturbing discovery. They found ancient records from a long-extinct civilization that described an encounter with beings from a distant blue world. The records told of creatures who learned with frightening speed, who viewed all technology as tools to be used rather than traditions to be respected, who fought with unpredictable creativity and who formed alliances easily. The ancient text ended with a warning. They call themselves human. They appear harmless when first met. By the time you realize what they are, it will be too late. The Federation would soon learn another truth about humans. They're never more dangerous than when they're making friends. Earth had no interest in conquering the galaxy. They merely wanted to ensure they would never be conquered themselves. But in doing so, they had become the most disruptive force the galaxy had seen in millennia. And they were just getting started. The Federation's classification system had never included a designation beyond, oh God, oh no, why are they here? Perhaps it was time to create one.